Welcome back to the Mental Playbook podcast. I'm here with Megan Franks, the founder of Sports Sitters, which I'm really excited for her to talk about and for her to share her journey as well. But ultimately, it's a platform that connects NCAA female athletes with families who need help supporting their kids. And it's really creating opportunities for everyone and mostly for the athletes to earn NIL income while serving as these really inspiring and just amazing mentors to these kids and to these families, and of course to the next generation to come. So, for people who may not know you yet, Megan, can you share a bit about yourself and your journey?
So, first of all, that was the most beautiful complimentary
Oh, I'm
intro.
so glad.
The athletes and the families and children on this are they're the best humans to support ever. So, I'm glad you picked up on that. Background about myself, I started Sports Sitters a little bit ago, probably about a year and a half ago. I think we started to take it public at this point now. Um, in the early stages, it was invite only, and I was the first parent on the platform. So I'm a parent user, I guess, and which is a little bit different. A lot of founders don't necessarily use their own product, even though they're solving
Yeah.
for something that is going on or something that they've noticed needs fixing or optimization. So my two kids were the very first to be tested.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they're the best. And later we ended up inviting the public to join the platform and expanding to other universities.
That's awesome. And I think what you said is really important because even just like my podcast, when you can resonate yourself to it, then that shows
Mhm.
other people like, oh, this is huge. Like this is the real deal. And so
Yes.
that's
And
really
it's
important.
so important to feel the service that you're giving other
Yeah.
people, to know what it feels like, to know what your kids say about a person or an athlete after they've left the house, to know what inspiration looks like to know what to fix. Or, I mean, we're obviously a mobile app. So, what improvements, what features, how can we better support children? How can we better support athletes and allow them a lot of control outside of their sport and improving their like financial position and really leveraging their NIL and status as an athlete. So that's been really fun to get tidbits from obviously the incredible athletes that come to our home. I book just the same way as other parents. And so my kids get such a unique like breadth and depth of experience that I'm super proud of, that they have so many people that are influencing their childhood.
Yeah, it's fun because you've built this whole community already, and it's just a place of trust and support and growth, which is awesome.
But I think also like what's interesting about our community is a lot of people, especially myself, even in the beginning, we focus so much on children and like the childcare piece of things, but every athlete is someone's child too.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's made this super special is that we have such a great, like, comprehensive like vetting and also word of mouth that has allowed us to expand so comfortably that our athletes know. I always tell them I would never send them anywhere that I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
And many of our families that are on the platform are in professional sports. They're incredible supporters of female athletics. Some of our kids have no interest in sports, which I think you'll probably find funny, but parents realize that a lifelong repetition of anything will make you phenomenal at it later. And these are some things that have just developed that are unexpected. I think when you start something, you have an idea and a plan, and maybe a good portion of that exists on our platform, but then other things have just sort of happened over time that have happened really gracefully. And I'm super proud of for the athletes and the children that
Yeah,
are on
that's
it.
great. Can I just tell you, Megan, I didn't grow up playing sports at all. I did mostly like dance and gymnastics, and then high school I did some sports, and it wasn't until really now or like these past few years where I really was interested in it and not just playing in it, but being a part of the community. So I think that's really
Mhm.
cool that yeah, like there are kids who have different interests that might not all be all about sports, but there's always something you can take away from it.
Yep. Yes. And I'm the same. I always get this question. People are like, "What sport did you play?" I'm like, "I didn't."
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I played the harp, and there are similar qualities where you have to show up, you have to be dedicated, you have to try again. Not every recital is a fun one.
Mhm.
My husband played sports and he played hockey in college. And I think that he's a huge reason as to why we were able to see a lot of athletes around our children. And then my background in child psych allowed me to realize, wait a minute, this is like such a phenomenal thing for development. Like the qualities that are ingrained in an athlete, despite myself not being one, is something that I want my children to be around. Like
Yeah.
they show up, they don't show up, they show up early, they try harder every time. There's someone to look up to. They embody health and wellness. Like sometimes I look back and I'm a little bit jealous of all of the kids on this platform because I feel like if I had that, I wish I had it. It makes it such a great thing to share.
Yeah, yeah. And so I want you to talk about your experience and your self before you became an entrepreneur.
So long, long ago, I worked at the NIH in child psychiatry, and I helped with looking at how the brain develops over time in typically and atypically developing children. I applied to 10 med schools and I got into zero. It was awful. It was a heartbreak. It was just pretty much the most horrible time ever after dedicating just effectively my whole college career to the sciences. I ended up pivoting and going into business and doing a business grad school quick master's program. I worked in business for a while, but it didn't ignite me the same way that the sciences did. But I was still angry with the sciences because it was a door that shut on me that I wasn't prepared for, that I had been working so hard to, enter. And many years later, I became a parent. And this was such a wild intersection of these two completely distinct, never had ever overlapped parts of my life where I'm like, wait a minute, I can influence child development, or we can all influence child development, health, wellness, role model, growth, curiosity in sport. And also run the business side of things where you need our logic to work. You need the app to open. You need payments and transactions to work. You need a privacy policy and terms and conditions. You need to onboard and vet the correct families. And all of a sudden, these two things that never, ever overlapped became completely ingrained with each other. And it was just the most bizarre thing because sports sitters is truly a concept I made up in my head.
Yeah.
And said, wouldn't it be wonderful if my kids could have athletes as their provider and like maybe a different athlete every time so that they could learn a little tidbit from someone on water polo and someone on soccer. And, you know, exposure is such a beautiful thing when kids are young. And oftentimes, as parents, we pick their sport, we pick the repeated childcare provider, whether it's a nanny or a babysitter. And for me, I wanted to remove that monotony and give them like a breadth of choice and curiosity, and then allow them to move forward with whatever they liked the most. And so that's sort of how this happened.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a unique story, and then also it's what you just shared is very different from those other babysitting apps. And I know I've
Yes,
been through a bunch of different babysitters, and I think, like I said, there's always something you can take away. And with this, these athletes have become role models, not just to one kid, but a variety of kids. So they're also
yes,
learning something from those kids as well, which is
yes,
really
absolutely. And I think, for them, it's also a phenomenal way, like going back to the NIL, for them to leverage their status as an athlete in the community. And this has another accident, but has become such a beautiful, like full circle event where an athlete will go to someone's home, they influence a child, the child takes a liking to the person or the sport. It starts attending games. So we're getting kids onto college campuses super young. And we're letting them feel, what's it like to go to a collegiate game? What's it like to walk from your parking spot? What's it like to get on a metro to go attend something? And what's it like to see that person again after they've been under the bright lights in an arena on a field, see strangers cheering for them, and have this unique relationship that sort of continues in many spaces, whether, across multiple sports. And so it's
Right.
been really, really exciting for the athlete because they are getting more popular in the cities that, we service. And then for the kids that have this like street cred where they know so and so on softball and you might recognize them on the news or on ESPN or ESPN2, depending on how their team is doing. And that's been just the most rewarding thing to have contributed toward.
Yeah, it's a big support system where the kids get to be the fans and know those
Yes,
athletes that are playing.
that's it.
I would have loved that when I was younger. And also just the representation part as well. I think for me, growing up, I didn't really see many female athletes in general. And then also like
hmm
my sport is flag football, so I didn't really see anybody playing football as a woman. So
hmm
I think that's also cool to have these female athletes, whether it's whatever gender the kid is, like to look up to them and they are their role models. And then also showing those kids that they can do so much. They can do whatever they dream of. So I think that's really
It's it's so what you said is also key in that a lot of the children on the platform are younger and they don't know the difference between Malia or LeBron. They just know that you provide them something that feels so good and so different and ignites something that I, like me as a parent, I cannot do that. It is a different outside person that makes them feel more powerful or to conquer something or to try something. And all of those little confident bits that they accumulate over time create a better person, and I think it's so unique in that we're allowing this like collegiate platform or sport to really have such a large voice in the development of so many kids and like positive development in so many kids.
yeah, that's huge what you just said. And I just got the shivers because I'm like, wow, that is really that is, I don't know, it's just a huge phenomenon that we, I guess, don't really realize that we are,
You are so big to them. You are
yeah.
so,
And
you're
people,
under the bright
yeah,
light. Yes.
there's just
And
opinions thrown around about judgment and all of that, and the kids pick up on that. And when they see, like, okay, like who's famous, who's not famous, like it doesn't matter. So that's, yeah.
it's so true. One of the things that a feature that we recently had developed and incorporated in the app actually, because I started realizing that just female student athletes truly are on the same level as any professional athlete for so many of these kids, um, was incorporating autographs in the bookings. And that was such a fun piece for kids to like, they get to like hold on to, this special thing that might last, it lasts way longer than the 3 to 5 hours that someone was at their house and feels very personal, and I think for them it's super special to really continue to push that idea of pushing themselves.
Yeah, and it widens their perspective as well. I want to talk more about the NIL part, and especially for female athletes, because we see that, the NIL opportunities are very different for women's sports and men's sports. And so
Yep.
I want to ask you, how has NIL changed opportunities for student athletes, and especially those female ones?
So sports sitters, we do everything the opposite, in case you haven't realized a theme. Um, for me, I was getting super frustrated when NIL first started, and I noticed in that space that a lot of the deals were obviously going to male revenue dominated teams. So football, baseball, basketball, yeah, basketball. And the female athletes weren't getting as many opportunities. And if they were, they weren't as lucrative.
Hmm.
What then further bothered me is that the females that were getting opportunities by brands were being hired usually because of their social media following, their brand aesthetic, making sure they look a certain way, making sure that a brand feels like they connect to the right audience. And SportsCenter doesn't care about any of that. I don't care what you look like. I don't care about your eye color. I don't care if you're tall or short. I want to know that you love influencing children, that you can leave a child after a few hours with them and make them feel phenomenal, make them feel confident, make them feel curious, make them feel powerful in a way that me as a parent, I can't do it. And none of that requires a lot of followers on Instagram. They don't know. What do we care? None of that requires you looking a certain way. It requires you exuding a certain something. It requires that you have experience working with the youth and, empowering them. But everything that is NIL that's very like brand spam and one time and non-recurring is not this platform.
Yeah, that's huge because I mean NIL stands for name, image, and likeness, and that's already public like display,
Correct.
something that
And we leverage NIL because of your name, image, likeness, your status as an athlete on a team.
yeah.
So we leverage NIL for what I think it was intended to be.
Hmm.
I'm not sure NIL was intended to be this thing that used people's social media to grow someone else's company so that some other company can make money off of, 19 to 22-year-olds. I truly believe that NIL was meant to be community and connecting and getting out there. And it can be used in a positive way. It does not just have to like boost sales for an energy drink. You can like there are, you can do more than that. And you should as an athlete, like your reach and influence is so strong. Like you should do more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. And so I think what is I'm trying to think. How do athletes, or can you walk us through how athletes can join this platform and what are the steps that you take to ensure that they are the athletes that you want to be helping
Mhm.
kids? Like, how do you kind of factor that out?
So like getting on the platform and vetting. This is a huge one. So again, we do everything backwards. Like this is
Yeah.
just such a common theme, and it was not intended. I'm not trying to do everything different on purpose. But one thing I didn't like is um, NIL started to have this space that became very agenty.
Yeah.
And I didn't like seeing young people give huge portions of their income to adults. I feel like they did the work, they showed up to practice, they got their space on the team. That's their money, they're deserving of it, and that's important that it stays in their pocket. So, what SportsCenter did that's different is nobody ever goes through an agent. There's no brand rep, there's nothing. We are direct.
Hmm.
If an athlete is interested in the platform, they go to the App Store or Google Play directly themselves, no agent. They download it, they register. We go through, we vet them, we make sure that they have experience, they meet all the criteria that we need, they have transportation. They're at obviously one of the schools that we service, good humans in the community, and we approve them. And this allows them to keep the money that they earn.
Hmm.
It allows them to work however often they want to work. And then there's also the intersection of the childcare space where a lot of other babysitting apps require or just their providers, their babysitters to pay for their own background check. I don't want any young adult to not have an opportunity because they can't pay first
Yeah.
or to be fined if they don't take enough jobs in a month. This is meant to support. This is meant to put money in young women's pockets that already do enough and then some And so every sort of boundary or rule that we've created in terms of onboarding is something that allows support, flexible income, trust, and really comfort. Like a lot of these women are also not at home. And when they're going to families' homes, like we want them to feel good in a space that's not their sport. It's not campus. It's a
Yeah.
breath of fresh air walking into a family's home where, like, you might smell cookies and you see Legos on the floor. And like that feels good when you haven't had it in so long. Um, and you're away from home. And then, for the parents, these athletes feel comfortable accepting any request on here because they know that we scrutinize and vet them almost harder in some ways. Athletes are very trackable, traceable. They're very public. You can find them online. You can see them on TV. And parents, we have to make sure that they are who they say they are, that whoever registered that their partner or spouse is also a good person. And we do all of this so that, that's like a personal thing for me, but I want to make sure that children feel safe and that, these athletes, they're someone's kids too, that those parents feel safe that their kids are working on our platform. They're
Yeah.
big kids.
But yeah, it goes both ways.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
definitely,
So we've created this intersection of trust where you can get access to a D1 athlete when you need it in a safe, secure way.
yeah. Yeah, I love that. And so I think with social media, with AI, with all of that, how does AI and technology play in your work and organization? And then just like you said, making sure that, it's these are real people and
Hmm.
all of that to protect everybody.
So we leverage some elements of that in different ways. I'd say the first time we leveraged it or first use was through our code base. And that ended up slowing things down, actually. I think it was at a time that, because we started probably about a year and a half ago, trying to allow code to be written without as much human intervention, like really wasn't ideal. So it slowed us down. So now we keep things more manual. The second thing is that we have an incredibly robust background checking system. I think the most important thing here is that we leverage technology to be the antithesis of technology.
Mm.
So a parent uses their phone, they drop in a booking, and as soon as this booking starts, it's old school, no screen, person to person play. And I don't want athletes using technology at all. They shine through interaction, and children need that so badly. We have, like, just, as time goes by, a generation of children that there's more and more requirements, whether it's in school laptops or online homework or portals, and it starts so young. And so for us, the tools that a lot of platforms use, while yes, we use them to build our actual mobile app, as soon as an athlete and a child are paired, like that's it. It's go throw a ball, go do an art project, go draw something, go do Legos, go play Barbies. And it's not always sport, but what it always for sure is just eye contact, time spent, and hopefully memories made.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's hard because I have a younger brother who's in middle school, and to see the difference between when I was in middle school and him now is it is kind of crazy. It's all on the iPad,
Yeah.
whatever the computer,
Yep.
and more and more kids these days are getting phones at a younger age. And when I was
Totally.
in middle school, it's like, oh, that's crazy. Like she's only 12 and she already has a phone. But now it's like, oh, she's 10. And like, so it is definitely challenging and we can't really control whatever
You
when.
probably learned cursive.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
And when do
it
I use
has
it
changed a
now?
lot. Yes.
No. Not at all. It is very crazy, but it is really good, I think, for all ages. For me too, I'm trying to work on like Okay, let me step outside in the sun for a bit. Let me go on a walk. Let me recognize that I'm using my phone too much. So, yeah,
And
definitely
it's
that.
so simple, but it's
Yeah, it's
becomes easier when you have someone that will like do it with you. Like if
Mhm.
you go on a walk with someone, all of a sudden it's just such an easy task. And I think
Yeah.
that helps us. Like, oh, if you go do the Legos or whatever it is with someone, it's fun and it's different. And that extra perspective like makes what we should be doing very like easy.
Yeah, and yeah, it's building that physical connection as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So can we talk about the specific benefits for each of the I guess groups? So we have the athletes,
Yeah.
what are they getting from it? The kids, and then obviously the parents.
hmm okay, so parents are uniquely positioned because most babysitting apps don't have recourse. I'd say that's the most important thing. So they are hiring a provider that is on a scholarship, that's on a team, and that has an expectation when working in the community that they act and behave a certain way. If they stray from that expectation, there's recourse. It's you cannot be a star volleyball player and do something wrong when you're inside someone's home.
Yeah.
So there's a lot on the line for these athletes when they give their time, their name, to go into someone's home and influence their child. They really are representing themselves in the community with the most incredible, just beyond expectation of being a role model for children. And I think as a parent, when you step away and you want to go run your errands by yourself and the kids don't throw things in the grocery cart, or go on a date night, or do happy hour, whatever, with your friends or your husband, I think that it's so nice because you just can relax knowing that, again, they're public figures, they're traceable, trackable, they're on ESPN, they're on ESPN2. Many of them are trying to go pro. There's nothing worth risking any of that, because a lot of women in sport choose to do sport or something in sports later.
Yeah.
And for parents, that's phenomenal. You go on a different application and you hire someone based on what you think their experiences and the way they look, and maybe a certain number of years or other families that you might know, and that's it. And if they mess up, then what?
Yeah.
So the families are very, very fortunate to have that enjoyment. For the athletes, they cannot take a normal job most of the time. They can't go like work at a bank or something on campus. They don't know if coach is going to call an extra practice, if their season's going to go longer, if they have lift, if they have to watch film. And so this allows them to leverage that gig economy in a way that's comfortable for them. And we also have enough athletes on the platform that if they can't do something, they can release it and another athlete can be plugged in and go show up, which is awesome. Um, they also get to leverage impact. There's no other NIL opportunity that's a marketplace that allows athletes to directly choose the work that they're going to do, who they're going to serve, how long they're going to do it for, and make sure that all of that looks good to them.
Mhm.
And I think the other piece is that so many of these women have an incredible amount of experience doing camps, clinics, community service. Like, just by virtue of being on a team, they are expected to serve their community in so many different ways, nearly all the time. And so much of that impact is working with youth and families. So it just like it makes perfect sense that when they do have the free time, to allow them to continue, using this as something that's just complementary to that skill set that's super, super developed. And then for the children, I mean, who else would you want to put your kid with? Like, there's been kids that have been on this platform that they've been with athletes who have gone pro, that have followed careers, that have exposed them to a sport they never even knew about, that all of a sudden they want to try, that have given them curiosity about health and wellness, about lifting, about strength training. I mean, what other 4 to 6 year olds, or even 10-year olds are exposing or getting exposure to that?
Yeah.
I had a mom tell me that her son's making protein shakes in the morning, and like it's these simple little things, and I'm like, wow, if I like knew about protein shakes when I was 10 instead of 21, like that would have been amazing. And
Yeah.
so we are just giving so much life skill, I think, and also just they are role models. They embody so many qualities that I work personally really hard to have in myself. I work really hard to wake up and go to the gym, and really hard to, motivate myself to eat healthy and all these things. And I have to have 3 cups of coffee to have the energy of an athlete. And these women are born with this. It's so unfair.
Yeah.
But what you can't provide, you find for your children. And so, that is them, and take my money because that's who I want my kids to be around. There's an amazing quote. It says that your kids grow into who they're surrounded by.
Mhm.
And I'm like, take my kids. Like, I love them and they love me, but on those extra hours when I want influence, like this is the human type.
Yeah. I can tell in your voice you're just so passionate about this, which is incredible. And I do want to know, why is it important to let kids kind of discover what they genuinely love?
I think as parents, we are choosers. And I think that's the wrong way to parent. We select, okay, I'm going to start Johnny or Sarah off in soccer. And then they should know how to swim. So then I'm going to put them in swim. And they should know how to do this. And, you know, um, we choose without asking because we think young children oftentimes are not capable of choice. But if you give them the elements to make choices, they can tell you. I mean, from young toddlers, you see them. This is when they scream and have tantrums. They're telling you their choice. You just don't agree with their choice as a parent. And if we give them the tools to try it out, to see it, and feel it also in home, a lot of these bookings have sport element, not necessarily all of them, but a lot of times, these kids are going outside, and that's what the first half of the booking is. Go try it. Go throw a baseball. Go kick a soccer ball. Did you have fun? Okay, great. Then let's give it a shot.
Mhm.
And this allows parents to also feel that confidence in their kid, because little Johnny or Sarah said, no, I don't want to do swim. I want to try water polo. And
Yeah.
you're like, well, yeah, you really enjoyed that. That was really fun. And it's great to see your child, take something on that wasn't forced upon them.
Yeah, that's really big, and I think that's something like I can be honest about and say that like I do feel like my parents were kind of putting me in different um whatever hobbies, activities, and a
Hmm.
lot of the times I just didn't want to do it. And I tried it out, but I was like, no. And so for me as a kid, I do think like I mean, I was the kid that was always saying like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But I think, having an athlete, having a mentor like that, that would have definitely changed things. And, it's all about, like you talked about, the environments, the people they're surrounded with. They get all of these opportunities, these possibilities and options, and
Hmm.
they get to kind of make that choice themselves,
Yeah.
which
And
is
I think
so,
the exposure piece is so important. Like, I'm certain your parents were trying to do it to figure out exactly where you loved or fit best.
right.
And I will say on this platform, because it's not the same athlete every single time, they do get just an incredible breadth and depth. They might get the same person again. Like
Hmm.
it's common that we have some similar or some of the same ladies, but then it's also common that it's someone brand new. And I think that that's just a totally different skill set where we're socializing also. Like, as
Yeah.
parents, we're like, oh, they need the same nanny every single day because she knows where the diapers are.
Yeah.
Well, no, if you allow your child the grace to learn how to introduce themselves, to learn how to share what they like, to learn from someone else what they're good at, um, you really have well positioned your kid to speak up, for leadership, right? To show what they're good at, to transition. And these are things that as parents, like they crave that their kids are able to do this, but then also sometimes don't allow them developing that skill because it's really hard to develop that if you don't allow that space and grace and trust for different people that are influencing your children.
Yeah, change is definitely hard. And I do think, yeah, with those transitions and the new athletes and connections comes a lot of adaptability, which is definitely
Yes.
super big.
Yes.
So I want to talk about a little bit more about you because you are doing all of this hard work and I'm sure it can be incredibly stressful. So how do you protect both your mental and physical health?
So the hardest thing is we're bringing something to other people's kids. So I have made a promise to myself that I will not sacrifice my own time with my children to go make somebody else's kids happy.
Yeah.
Um, my kids are number one and my family's number one. And then anything I can do to offer or improve the service or improve the lives of other children, like I'm all about it. The way that I have found the most success doing that is waking up earlier, which is awful. I try to get I know, I'm like, I wish there was an easier way. Um, I try to get as much as I can done before my kids wake up. That way we can have just our normal time together in the morning. I do as much as I can when they're either at preschool or elementary school. And so for me, it's not like a rigid 9 to 5 sort of thing. I jump in little increments as I can. I'm so lucky that I do a lot from my phone. I'm also really grateful that the athletes that are on this platform, all of them have my personal cell phone number.
Nice.
And so, there's so much phenomenal like insight and joy I get. Like they'll text me and be like, "Oh, this booking was so good. This kid was so curious about, XYZ." And um, that is such a good motivator, especially when I have to find time to sort of piece it together. And the other thing is that my kids are really proud of sports sitters. Um, like this morning, my son was like, "So, which athlete is coming over today?" I'm like, "Oh, I didn't book one." Like, sorry, kid, you're with me. He was like, "Oh, really? Don't you want to
Oh,
give them a
bummer.
job?" Like, okay, yeah, you're smarter than me. I get it.
Oh, I love
Or we had, something where there was an athlete and my son's like, "You need to try harder when we're working out outside. Otherwise, my mom's gonna fire you."
that.
And it's just funny because like
Yeah.
it's so good for young people to have a sense of pride and ownership in something. So I do love that, like he's obviously comical, but I do love that he has seen the best and the worst. He's seen me cry over this thing when things have been broken. And when I say cry, I mean truly like I just want to throw in the towel. But then there's pressure. I'm like, but if I don't, there's kids that need it. There's athletes that rely on this truly as income that they're paying their apartments, they're paying for books, like they're paying for, Sephora, whatever it is. That's, it's helping. And it's such a good pressure and motivator to figure out where it fits in and force it somewhere in your life. It's almost like going to the gym.
Mhm.
Like, do you have that hour and where do you force it in? Because I can think of a million other things that I'd prefer to do.
Yeah.
But you gotta force it in. And if you don't, then you don't get the success. You don't get the gratification. You don't get to brag about it. You don't get to show it off. And it is very much in the same space or vein as that.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because that is like something that I can say that I struggle with and it's like, yeah, we can say we're busy, but is it truly are we busy like hour to
Hmm.
hour? It's yeah, it's all about yeah, making that time and really forcing it in your schedule. So, I think with all of the positives, obviously there's going to be negatives, there's going to be challenges, and there's going to be obstacles. So, what do you do when things don't go according to plan?
Ugh. First, I complain to my husband.
I know, let it out.
I feel bad for him. I know. I'm like, oh, you're probably so sick of hearing me complain. Um, so this platform, I know I said a lot of it was an accident or something that I made up. And it's great that I decided to roll with it and build it out. And it's just helping so many families and kids and women earn income. But what's hard is that you take on a responsibility of things like I had no idea that the things I'd be responsible for. In this week alone, we accidentally sent off 600 text messages. That happened today before our meeting. Um, we were moving some data and it triggered our automatic SMS. And things like that are humiliating and awful. And I just want to be like, I feel like I cannot do this like it just it's so painful and you're just like, okay, how do I fix it? Like you got to stop it. It's anxiety provoking, it's triggering, like what do we do? And there's another event earlier this week where a bunch of athletes were sent a fake email that wasn't from me.
Yeah.
And it's great, I guess, because we're getting enough optics that I've never been like catfished before or like, but now that's a thing. And I had never prepared to have to prove like I am myself and this is my name and this is my email and I am who I am. Please believe that this is the real me. So there's just so much that goes with it, especially in the technology space. I thought it was more simple. Like you create an app and you throw it up on the app store and it's set it and forget it and like rah rah you're all done and like go get some money or earn some money off of it and everybody's
Yeah.
happy. And it is the opposite. It's so much time, it's so much dedication. There's requirement to keep things fresh so they don't depreciate. There's requirement for updates. All of the athletes need to earn. So we have to make sure that we're onboarding athletes at the same cadence as parents, that we're moving at schools that make sense, that we're still providing opportunity, that all of the kids feel cared for, that all of our third party services are working. We've had like our chats go down before this or that, and there's no one to just like point the finger at and say you broke something. It's all myself.
Yeah.
And it's a really heavy thing sometimes. Like I love the spirit of what the core of what this thing does. I love it. I'm like addicted to it. I love just what we do for children. And I love so much like every athlete that's on this platform. I adore them to pieces. I adore their work. I could cry right now. I'm so proud of them. But when things go wrong, it's hard and scary and uncomfortable. And you want to fix it fast. And there's no one to blame, it's yourself. And that's a really lonely place to live when things go wrong. Now, when things go right, it is awesome. Like, I want to scream from the rooftops. Like,
Yeah.
this is the most amazing thing. I am so incredibly proud. Like, the work that people do and the time that they give and the time they really carve out is what I should say, because athletes don't just like have time. The biggest criticism I've had that I've seen online is like, what do you want athlete has time? Or like that, this is a dumb idea. Who's ever gonna be able to do that? They already are asked of so much. And they don't have a lot of time, but they have big hearts and they make sure that with the extra time that they do have, it's put to good use. And influencing children is like the best use. So it's like, you know, with the good, you have to take the bad. And I didn't know everything I was signing up for. And there's good I didn't know about, and there's bad I didn't know about. And
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that because I think that's a lot of times we only really see the good, especially with social media and all of that. And I love that you've been doing word of mouth and that it's a lot of connection based. And then also just I hope you're taking care of yourself through all of this. And so yeah, thank you for
they are like, I will say, I think working with athletes has made me take care of myself more.
how so.
I mean, you just see these people that they embody health and wellness, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, wait.
yeah, discipline and
Yes, like do the extra. And you don't have to be a nut about it, but like just some extra that's consistency, I will say, is like And being around young people is also such a great thing. It's such a positive and exciting perspective and point of view on life oftentimes that has probably given me just such an energy and you know, positive point of view on life that I'm like, I can't put a dollar amount on that. So
Yeah, I love that. There's always so much to learn. So, I guess I want to ask you if there's, let's say, one young woman is listening and she gets an idea and she wants to start her own business. What is your advice for that girl?
start it as soon as you can and deal with everything that's broken later.
Hmm.
When we rolled out our first version of our platform, we thought it was good enough. I never have had a perfect version. I've never had something that I'm so incredibly proud of because I know it's an A plus plus plus. There's always something that can be fixed or tweaked or that I don't like or a reason to slow down or not release. And can you imagine all that would have been missed out on?
Yeah, yeah,
And so the most important thing is to start with something, even if it's simple. We started with something that's super simple. Just get it out there and layer. There's no such thing as unveiling, a perfect product. And I think just getting whatever V1 version 1 that is outside of your head and into the public and into the community or space that they're curious about is the most important step, truly.
I love that. And I think, yeah, that can sometimes go overseen because it's like, oh, I just need to do one more thing and then I'll like start or like with anything,
Yes.
whether it's a good
Especially with
habit.
athletes, that like
Yeah,
perfectionist attitude has got
yeah,
to take a break sometimes and fix it later. Like you're not going to, you know, win every single game. You're not going to have everything perfect every single time. Yeah, sure, you could train harder, you could eat something different, but like this is just a get it out there
yeah, exactly.
thing.
So, my last question for you is what matters most to you? The destination, the journey, or the company? And why?
The journey.
Why?
I don't know what the destination is. Like, I know I've said that there's been a lot of things that we've sort of made up or that have just
Yeah,
happened over time. So, like, I have no idea what the destination is. And the company, like, uh, this is not built to be like some business engine. It's built to inspire and to provide and to allow opportunity. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Megan, for joining me on the Mental Playbook. It has been great to hear about your own journey, and I'm excited to see where sports sitters go and the cool stuff you'll continue to do. To my listeners, mind strong, game on.
Yay. Thank you.